write an urgent 2K. And yes, I'm paying my school fees, I need money, as if now we be your parents when they train you for school. Please, this is one program that everybody who truly want to make genuine income should listen to. Okay, when you listen to it by the grace of God, if you put it into practice, definitely you will excel. Welcome to the program, Billionaire Scratch with Mr. Trinity. Mr. Trinity, welcome to Vision Africa Radio.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCarthy. It's nice to be here again.
My pleasure.
Hello, listeners. We had a beautiful time last week, and we hope to have even more, a more valuable, a more insightful, and a more inspiring time today. So we thought of something instead of continuing basically a curriculum because it's systematic. That's how we want it because we want people to grow. We wanted to spice it up a little. So as we had last week, we talked about financial goals, planning, and budgeting. A lot of questions came up on the social media handles. People were really specific about budgeting, wanted to understand more. But we will be handling that on our social media handles. Some content will be coming there. But today we're looking at a bit of a spice. We want to talk about the real estate industry, the investments involved in it, the opportunities, and some mistakes we're making. It's not intentional. It's as if it's a handover of a mentality, of a mindset that it's actually limiting people. So first of all, let's get what real estate is. Real estate basically is describing any property that's on a land, whether sitting on, inside of the land, basically the mineral resources in the land and anything on top of it, whatever, whether movable or immovable. So that's basically real estate. So when you hear real in that real estate, basically it's trying to say such a thing is immovable. Basically, it's not something that is that mobile. It's always going to be there unless something else happens to it, maybe a natural disaster or something like that. It has always been a very big or major investment or proof of wealth. It's something that can be handed over to generations. Land has always been there, and we're going to leave it when we go. Unfortunately, some down here, some of us kill ourselves over something that's going to be here when we leave. But let's look at the beauty about real estate business or real estate investment. Some people I know are landlords. What you call landlords, basically they have a rental property. People or tenants are paying them rent over that property. But you could approach them at some time in the year and they will tell you, sorry, I don't have money. Maybe you want to borrow money, you want them to lend you some money, or you want money, their children want money or something. Their father will say something like, my tenants never pay rent, something like that. But you have a property worth 50 million, 100 million, 20 million, whatever it is. But somehow along the line in the year or many times in the year, you don't have money in your pocket. There's something else, an error else will do. Some people run down to the villages, maybe because that's what our fathers transferred. They run down to the villages, they build a house in the village, they are paying rent in the town. Rent is not a bad thing. But they have a house, they barely sleep in the village. They literally don't spend up to a week in that property in the whole year, or just a week or two, maybe December and Christmas. And then they have to pay someone else rent in the town. And this property probably took them 10 years, 20 years, 5 years to save up to build this property. And when you ask them, they say, I have a house and it's in the village. Rats are running up and down. That's financial wastage. That's not wisdom. In this generation, on this era we are, in fact, building a house for rent, is someone ready to hear this? Building a house for rent is not really wisdom. Basic. I'm not sure everybody wants to hear it. Now, it still depends on the level you're operating. There is a place it's going to be a beautiful investment. But or at the long run, if I'm building some properties, say in Dubai, say in some very choicy areas, Lagos, Abuja, because of population influx, because of heavy density of population, now rent could be highly in demand. I could get back my money, say 5-10 years. Now, if you build a property in Umuahia, for example, in Abia, wherever it is, it's going to be literally impossible to get the money you used in building that property in 10 years. I bet you. I think the cheapest property you build, 10 million naira, may not get you a comfortable 3-bedroom flat. Comfortable, including land and everything. Now, if you have that property, imagine you're taking a rent, maximum you take is 600K in a property there. 600K, you're going to get 6 million naira in 10 years. Not talking about the deterioration, the loss of value, the depreciation, the repairs and wears and tears. It's going to take you at least 20 years to get the money back. So that's not wisdom. And the same person is going to be broke throughout the year. He's going to be maybe have some money at the time the tenant pays him some money. He finishes in 3 weeks, 1 week, because problem of the whole year is jam packing him. At the end of the day, you see he's not able to make anything out of that money. Now, I could still use the same 20 million naira you used, for example, to erect that same structure. Let me give an example. Erect a resort, a guest house, call it a retreat center or whatever it is. Let me give you a little breakdown of how cash flow comes from that and what you're going to turn over at the end of the year. Now, for example, you build the same thing you're going to build because you probably spent your space in the sitting room, all the balconies, all of this. Now you have this same money, you built this same thing, make it 7 rooms, average. 7 rooms gets you an average of, let's say, even if it's worst scenario, you're getting 5,000 naira a night, a day, sleeping over, anybody sleeps. Even if you don't get to book up the 7 rooms, you get to book up 5 rooms every day. 5 rooms every day gives you 25,000 naira in lodging every day. Even if they don't lodge it up for 7 days, 6 days is guaranteed how much? 25 times 6, you're getting 150,000 naira every week. Guaranteed. Now, 150,000 is going to give you 600,000 naira in a month. Guaranteed. That's what you would have gotten in that same house for a whole year. Now, you say, what about the staff salaries? What about maintenance, diesel cost? Now, put all of that. You have say maximum or 6 staff. You're paying 20K, 25K. So averagely, you're paying them in a month 180,000 naira salaries. Averagely in a month, you're running, because you have NEPA bills to pay, you have diesel, a combination, something someone is paying 5,000. You don't expect to run a diesel from night to morning. Now, basically, you could improve the texture or the interior of that work for a 15,000 naira room. Still the same property, but what you do in the interior. Now, if you look at it, you're going to have, say, diesel, even if its diesel budget goes to 250 out of it, you're having at least minimum 200, 250,000 as your profit at the end of the month. Now, what this does is that it offers you 3 businesses in one. One is that you have the lodging. 2 is that you have the restaurant, all in the same place, no extra cost. Do you understand? People who are lodging have to eat. People who are outside have to come in and sit down and eat. That's a restaurant business, which is food business, highly in demand. 3 is offering you, for those who have bars or some sort of relaxation, gaming, watching football, whatever. These means you get money in addition to your lodging. So you're going to see you're turning over at least 350, 400,000 every month at the end of everything. No extra labor, no extra staff, just basically domestic 2, security 2, portal 1, manager 1, and you're good to go. Now, when you look at this turnover, you're turning over at least, with average of 300,000, you're turning over 3.6 million naira in a year. Now, with that, you're able to cover up first of all, is that you're not running out of cash any day. Secondly, is that the bank you're banking with is able to afford you facilities at any instant because of cash flow coming into your account. You literally are not bringing any collateral. Your account becomes the collateral. Any bank is rushing to have you as their customer. Thirdly, is that you can still replicate that same branch in 3 years, basically from your profits. Now, you're still paying rent somewhere, get it? There's this mindset, everybody wants to, let me get a property, let me just build my own house and stop paying rent. When you stop paying rent, you still don't save your rent. You still won't save it. So the idea of rushing out to go get your property where you stop paying rent, you simply add the money you're saving up to extra hours of petrol, extra hours, bigger packages in your DSTV, bigger expenditures, and at the end of the day, you still didn't make anything out of the money. And your money is losing value. So why not get to stay in your best, according to your quality, your taste? Pay rent. The same way you've been working hard to pay your rent is the same way you continue paying rent. And you're turning over, you delay gratification, give it 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You're sure to have 2 branches of that. You're multiplying your cash flow, you're multiplying your revenue, you're multiplying your net worth at the same time. Your relationship base is growing. Your network is growing. Your mindset is shifting. You're seeing capacity. People are seeing results. Because many times we're looking at, as an investors, we're looking at who is going to give you money or come and give you money for investment. Many times they want to see what you're doing, producing results, and they can hand you over more because promotion comes from faithfulness in handling little. It's a natural principle. It's a godly, a biblical principle, but it's a life principle. So you're faithful in a little business you're doing, it begins to attract some people who are seeing results in what you're doing, and they can say, okay, I have a package, I have 100 million naira investment, want to build a big hotel, want to build a bigger resort, want to venture into tourism and hospitality industry. This is just an aspect, something you could do and take advantage of that same money. So yes, it's real estate investment. That's true. But you see that if you're not getting wisdom, it's going to look as if you toiled your years saving up money, got a land, took you 5 years to start building, 10 years. As a retiree, you're like, thank God I built a house. You built a house. What are you going to eat? Eat the block or eat the mortar? So I want us to change our mindset. Change there's no time on this show basically to explain further, but that you begin to think beyond the indoctrination, the systems, cultures, the information you have. There are a lot of things you will do, and literally your financial goals will be hit in one day. I mean, literally in 1 year, something you plan to achieve in 10 years. So you can actually do this and then thank me later for saying that my results shifted. I didn't know I could do this. Secondly, let's look at, this thing when we talk about real estate. I just wanted to just share this so that we understand that the way we are many times wired, I have a very close relative. What he has in the villa is what, by evaluation, not because of location, but the cost of that property will not be anything less than 150 million currently. Only the furnishing in the sitting room will build you a 3-bedroom flat currently, because they were all shooting from Turkey and all of those things. The kind of rats that run through that building, they have hairs on their tail, and it's terrible. And it's in the village. Nobody would even pay, let me not exaggerate, nobody will pay 120,000 naira rent because everybody has a property to sleep in the village. So, and this same person is staying in a house, no borehole, no water. Yes, it's his property in the town, but it's confined. I'm sure that will be his biggest regret. So basically what I'm trying to explain is that you have to think outside of the box. The business you're doing, the investment you're doing, there are different value chains in that business that will require less labor, less stress, more time for yourself, and still make out more money. For example, your let me still stick to this real estate for today. You're into land sales, and maybe as a realtor or whatever, they tell you, let me share a brief. Now, if you're in real estate, for example, and you want to buy land, let me tell you some things you need to do and check. Is important. It's really important. Consider whether there's a population density in that area because of the nature of what you want to do. If I'm looking for rent or rental purpose, I'm looking at population. I'm looking at government infrastructure in that area. I'm looking at a demand. If I'm looking at commercial purpose, for example, rental, I'm looking at transit. I'm looking at a tourism something. I'm looking at a major stopover for people on travelers or something, or all of that, bringing them in a particular location. If I'm looking at industrial, for example, manufacturing or whatever, I'm looking at closeness or nearness to your raw materials or whatever, and also logistics. So these are a few things you must consider if you're choosing. Secondly, the idea, some people, I don't know, prefer to go buy properties from families and communities, and some of those things, they are good. But sometimes for peace of mind, not to add prayer points, not to somebody to add juju to your life and then give you one funny thing, you would then go, they sold the land to you. At the end of the day, somehow you leave the land and you're no more there, your children continue distress. I would advise you look for reputable real estate firms and invest. Reputable now, what they do or what they cut out for you many times is that they cut out the hassle of having to how do I explain this? Having to go through registration of documents, having to go through legal matters over the land, having to go through diabolic matters, if you get what I mean, and all of those things. They give you peace of mind, and many times there's no pressure of matching ground, youth development. These you put a block, they destroy it and tell you have not brought a goat that has two heads, and funny stories like that. So it's a good one that we look at real estate and look at buying them from reputable firms. For example, like I said in the last episode, I'm into real estate. I'm a realtor with a particular company, Capital City Development Limited, very reputable. For example, if you're buying properties, that's an example. If you're buying properties from Capital Estate, many of the properties you're buying from them, you're not paying for documents. You're not paying for survey or some of those things. You don't have any of those things. You just pay your property, pick your property, and develop your property. No development fee and some things that come with some other, and all of those things. Now, I'm simply saying that these are basic investments. If you have 1 million naira now, for example, somebody who is asking, if you have 1 million naira now, say, what do I do with it? I will not tell you to buy a land. I'll ask you a few questions before I ask you to buy a land. If you just got a 1 million somehow, you won a bet, you did one funny thing, somebody dashed you the money, I'm going to ask you about your source of income. Source of income, basically, do you have a consistent source of income? Because telling you to go and buy a land with that money, you're going to go hungry next tomorrow. So it's not just about going to buy a land. The point is, do you have a consistent source of income? It's not, I don't get land. What if that land doesn't appreciate? Most of them do, but what if it doesn't? And land is simply going to give you a one-off profit. One time you do something with it and you're still broke the next day. So land banking is good, but it's beautiful when there is a consistent source of income. It's beautiful when you have something that is feeding you, taking care of you, taking care of your basic needs. You can actually carry those kind of casual money or whatever you have and do that. So if you have 1 million, you don't have a job, you don't have a consistent source of income, I would say put it in something that will give you cash flow no matter how little. As little as a POS business, as little as something that gives you a farm, a fish, whatever, something that gives you a daily turnover. When your daily needs are met, it allows you to think, your mind works well. But when your daily needs are not met, there is a part of your mind that is shut down forever, literally not working. You can't process anything because all you're thinking is your stomach. All you're thinking is how to eat. So when you're able to solve the problem of cash flow, when you're able to solve the problem of your daily needs, it's easier for you to have a breath air and a fresh air or breathe in or whatever they say, and begin to ask what next. You don't see somebody in a pit and then you're asking him, are you going to Mudike? No, you have to get him out of the pit first before you start asking him where he's going to. So it will be a wrong question to ask you, where are you going to when you're in the pit? You need to come out first. I hope we're getting this. So I would really like this section to be very interactive because this is going to be despised. And next week, we're going to continue on our tailored program, because the idea is to shift our minds, shift our ideology, and see that there is this wealth all around us daily, on a daily basis, but we're not really looking at it. Take note, I said last week, the money or whatever that's not inside your mind, your pockets cannot keep. Today, take note, money is not wealth. Hear it again. Money is not wealth. Wealth is not money. Money is not wealth, and wealth can never be money. In fact, money or wealth is simply the value, the solution, the problem you're solving. Now, the more people that need that solution, the more people that you supply that particular solution to, or you solve their problem, the wealthier you get. So those who are able to offer certain services or solutions even for free, and the number is growing, they might look foolish. That's why sometimes people look at pastors and say, pastors are too wealthy. They're not. They're offering a value, and the number of people who need the value or solution they're offering are growing, and they can never be they must be in demand. They can never be poor. They can't be broke. It's as simple as that. Because those who need to be healed have to be healed. Those who need counseling have to be counseled. So they are offering just beyond spiritual services. The same thing with somebody who's selling food is on high demand. So you have to identify a problem. There's Nigeria, there's a lot of problem. Electricity is a problem. Water is a problem. Sanitation is a problem. Road is a problem. Housing is a problem. Transportation is a problem. Find one and solve. Find one and solve the problem. I hope this gets clear. Find one problem and solve. Design a solution. Not with money in mind, actually. Design a solution. It will pay you. Trust me, it will pay you. So at this time, I think they will open the phone lines and we're going to get your questions. Please, if you're following us on social media, don't forget to follow us at Billionaires Crib on Facebook, at Billionaires Crib on Facebook, on Instagram at Billionaire Crib _crib. Don't forget that. On YouTube at Billionaire Crib or Trinity EH, any of them you search, you would still, or Mr. Trinity, sorry, anyone you search, you will get to follow, you get to see some content. And we promise we're going to do some giveaway along for, especially those following on social media. There's going to be some giveaway in this program. So watch fully, follow, And then when the question drops on the social media handle, those who were listening in this program will be able to answer and get something from it. Don't forget to follow my phone number. Please give a call after the program. Don't call this phone number while we're in the program. It's 080 688 20270. 080 688 20270. Some people reached out to me within the week. They want some coaching, some mentorship, some guidance. Please just relax. Take out time to follow the program. Get the basic foundation, because many times we've learned with humans, it's easy to jump on something. I want to do something, but the discipline and the mental focus to see through it, the process might be difficult. So relax. Whenever that opportunity comes up, we'll let you know whenever it's up. So don't forget to follow the social media handles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Trinity. Dear listeners, you've heard it from Mr. Trinity. Now, the number to call to be part of this program is 080 6588 5418. To be part of the program, I repeat the number again, 080 6588 5418. So call the number and ask him your questions or be part of the programs. Thank you. So I don't know.
Yes, while we're waiting for your calls, somebody was asking if I have. Okay, I want to remember that
I
question.
think we have a caller. Let's.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I think we've missed that. Go ahead. Continue.
All right. Somebody was asking me the other day if I have 20 million or something, what do I do with it? There's a lot of things to do with it. But that will be on a private level. It's not something I would. There are a few questions we need to ascertain. I need to ask. There are a few things, conditions I need to ascertain. And then before we give you a counsel on what to do with that. Thank you. All right, somebody was asking me, okay, about properties. We have a few properties in Umuahia. At least there is an estate, Ivy Estate in Umuahia along Ajata Ibiku, that's along Bender Road. Barely 10 to 11 minutes from the post office along the road, just there. It's already, phase 1 is sold out, phase 2 is almost sold out, and our location is next month. It's simply going for a meager fee of 1.5 million currently, 1.6 million for 3 months plan, 1.8 million for 6 months plan, and 2 million for a year plan. There is an instrumental program, or you can pay outrightly 1.5 million. So whichever one you want to, be sure that you're not paying a documentation fee, you're not paying some fee for anything. And it's a good one. But don't bring your last 1 million naira for such an investment if you don't have a source of income. Don't bring your last 2 million or whatever for that and keep your children hungry in the name of you bought a land if you don't have a consistent source of income. Please don't do that.
The number to call is 0806 588 5418. 0806 588 5418. That's the number to call. Call in now and ask those questions. Yes, I know some people might be asking. There was someone who asked me, assuming you don't have up to 1 million and you have something like maybe 200, 300, are there other good investments that people can invest on and make returns at the end of the month or something like that?
There are a lot of. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and the person, visited.
Okay.
And somebody promised her some money. She literally praying for favor for money to come, and then money came, and then this person said, "What business can you do with such an amount of money?" And then she came to me and started asking. I said, "But you've been asking for money, and now there's no plan." So literally, you see, that's the story of many typical, literally 80% of people on the street. The problem is they say, I need capital. First of all, there are 7 kinds of capital. Money is the least of it. You have your goodwill, you have relationship, you have a lot of things which are all capital. Now, it will shock you that the person has not sat down to write down what he really wants to do. So at the long run of it, the young lady, I started giving some suggestions. And one of the major things I said, young lady, the way I see you, if they give you this money, I'm giving that business 6 months is going to fold. I'm not telling you something bad, but it's not going to work. Many of them will not work because of mindsets, because of the level of the IQ and something. So like, why are you saying? I said, that's true. I said, the only option I could have said, if you are very intentional, is a POS. That is to say, if it's not in a very busy place and you can invest in your mind while you're there, then that can work. And she was like, why are you saying that? I said, take out this money and go and take courses, go buy books, go sit down, go under mentorship and learn with, attach with somebody. You can want to go into agriculture. Don't just jump into it. Go to somebody who is doing that. Spend